Could we go to the member in the blue in the back?
Hey, Conan, big fan. Just wondering.
You've got a very laid-back vibe, man. I love it.
Thank you. I'm from Canada.
What did he say? I couldn't hear him. I couldn't. What?
It's kind of freaky with all
Oh, you're
eyes.
from Canada.
Yeah, no, yeah, that too. It's cold, but.
But you just stood up with this whole like, "Hey, man." I love it.
My question is, so with like all eyes on us, with social media and stuff, it feels like everyone's kind of always watching us at this stage in our lives. And for those of us who have maybe like TV and media ambitions, should we be extra careful with what we put out there? Or should we just kind of like go with it and accept that society will maybe change its views? And, you know, like how when you grew up, there wasn't maybe that, there was no smartphone, sorry. So
what you're trying to say, if I can interpret, in my day, to get a dick pic out there was very hard. You needed a lot of equipment. It was like 9 people involved. And then you had to mail them, and it wasn't worth it. There was no erotic zing at the end, you know? There was a difficult time. You know, that's the part where I think, yes, obviously, I mean, look, I see it both ways, because we currently have a president in the United States who seemingly has done all kinds of things that would have ended anybody else's career 5 years ago. And his attitude seems to be, we're not talking about that right now. And then he has that weird sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi, these are not the droids you're looking for. He does the most outrageous things, you know? And you're like, wait a minute, 9 porn stars? And he's like, these are not the droids you're looking for. And we're all like, these are not the droids. And so, you know, I think it would be a real shame if you didn't, everybody, I'm going to quote Hannah Montana now, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. That's all I know. I know that because I had a 5-year-old daughter when she was all the rage, and she had a pen that every time you clicked on it would sing that song until the battery died. And I ended up just digging a well and dropping it into the well. But anyway, I would hate for your generation to think, I would hate it if 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds were thinking, I might want to be in broadcasting someday, I might want to be a comedian, I better keep my social image pristine for all time. I think that's an unrealistic expectation, personally. So I think things are going to adjust. Do I think that people should try to be civil and show common sense? Yes. I think it's a really good idea, if you're going to be drinking a lot, to maybe put the phone in a box and lock it, you know, until you come back around again. Just because, but I think there's going to be I think your generation, and I say this, I think optimistically, I think your generation is going to, we've been going through a moment where people can go back and look back 15 years and say, oh my God, or 8 years, or 3 years, and say, look what you did at this party, and we have this picture, and your life is over. And I think it would be terrible for everyone in this room. I mean, I have children. I have a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old. I don't want them to go through life thinking that. This is the age where you're supposed to be making some mistakes, robbing some banks, committing some crimes. But at the same time, I think, yeah, you want to be responsible with that phone in your camera, you know, or that camera in your phone. You know, and so I'm probably the last person to be able to give you advice, but I hate the sound of, what I'm hearing from you is a 19 or 20-year-old person who's saying, I'm bright, I've got a future, but how worried do I have to be about everything I do on social media? And I would like to think you don't have to be that worried about it.
Could we go to The member over there.
These silences in between questions are great.
Hi, Conan. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. Nice to be here.
You talked about how you like your comedy to be on universal topics, so it can be timeless. But do you think that besides that, there's like every generation has any particular type of humor? And if so, what does it take to make a millennial laugh?
Oh, well, clearly I wouldn't know, but I would. But no, I don't think. You know, I think the best thing you could do is go on like Adult Swim, and that's just an interesting example. Or just go on the internet. There's so many different types of comedy. There's always been different brands and styles of comedy, and right now I see all of it happening simultaneously. I do not think there is a type of humor that works for millennials, and then if you go 20 years later, there's a different sensibility that works for them. I think there are certain universal elements of comedy that surprise people and are funny, and we tend to agree, for the most part, on what those are. And but I don't think there's something that's specific to your generation where I think, oh, this is what a millennial thinks is funny. Because look at all the different kinds of comedy that are thriving right now. They're so completely different, you know? And you have, even late night shows in America, the distance between, say, what a Colbert's doing or what a James Corden's doing is just completely different. It doesn't mean that one's bad and one's good. They're just very different. So and if I tried to say one of those senses of humor is for millennials and one isn't, I would be mistaken. Yeah. There's a guy right here.
Member on the end of the row over there.
I'm just going to point out there's a man right behind me who could physically assault me if we don't get to him. Wait, I think I can take him. Stand up. Stand up. Oh, shit. Okay, forget it. No, I won't fight him because I don't want to. I'd hurt him, I think.
Hello.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you again for coming to speak with us and not going to the other place. I was just wondering...
It's like Voldemort now. The name of the place whose name shall not be spoken!
I was wondering, with your show and the podcast as well, are there any other sort of great passion projects that you sort of have always wanted to do on your horizon as you enter your golden age?
It's funny you mention that because there's a little meet and greet beforehand. I guess people, I don't know if they won something or lost something, but they had to talk to me for about 10 minutes before we came out here. And one of them said, "So, about to retire, eh?" And you do hit a certain age, or when you've been around long enough, where you guys can look up clips of me from '93, and it probably looks to you like this is footage from World War II. And I don't blame you for thinking that. What's funny is, as you go along, I remember really clearly being your age. I remember it so well, and being at Harvard, we had a room that's just like this. It's called Sanders Theater, and I did comedy there one night, performed comedy there one night, and I remember I'm so connected to being that age, and I honestly don't feel that differently now. That's a very strange thing, and I know that to everyone here, you'd think, that's impossible. It must hurt every time your heart beats. Your stool must be a white gel. That part's true. They don't know why. Highly flammable. Anyway, the point is this. The point is that I don't feel any different. I really do feel like I just like being silly the way I did when I was 15, 18, 25, 35, 45, and now I'm 56, and I'm the same way. If there's certain people I see, I will get people I've known for a long time, I'll wrestle them in a silly way. I have that very, very childlike attitude about things. And so I never really think that much about, well, now I'm this age, and it's time for me to go into that sweet light, you know? I think most people don't think that way. They just, I mean, I like that I'm sort of oddly not self-conscious about it. And I have an ability, I think, to, in a childlike way, just be where I am now, which is I love doing the show. I really love doing the travel specials. Those are a joy, the Conan Without Borders shows. And I love doing the podcast. And then when they invent or I stumble upon some other way to be silly or to sort of get my essence out there, that I will probably try and do that. So it's very interesting. It's why you probably look at people. When I was your age, I used to look at people and think, why don't they stop now? You know, there's a place they can go, and they're cared for. You know, but then you get to start to be that age, and you think, why would I do that? I feel pretty good, and I like doing this. So I think I'll just keep taking a stab at it, you know, until you know, people like you say we really don't want to hear what you have to say. You know, and that would be rude to write me that. Just don't invite me. The point is if you went out of your way to write me and say we don't want you to come, that would have been incredibly rude. You did point out, and I want to bring this up, I said today, I thought, oh, you gave me a nice tour because you wanted to show me what it was like out in the rain. And but you were very lovely. You were really nice. And you gave me this great tour. And then at one point I was saying, like, so kind of like trying to get to how did you decide to invite me? And you went, we invite lots of people. Thousands and thousands. And every now and then some sucker says, okay, I'll pay my own airfare. That was a really funny part, was my manager, who's been with me forever. He's always used to, it's his job, it's what he does. So he didn't get the memo, you know, but someone in my office told me, you've been invited to speak here, and I know what this is, and I thought this is really cool, and I want to do that. And that's during a week when I could get to London, so let's do it. And then I think Gavin Pallone, my manager, was like, he told me, and he said, I called them. I talked to them to try and hammer them on the money. I don't know who it was, but I just pictured someone picking up the phone like, there's no money. What are you talking about? And then he's like, well, then he wants 7 first-class airplane. No, he gets nothing. It's the honor of it all. And he called me up, honor of it all? What is this crap? We'll get our money somehow, I know it. Someone's going to lose a scholarship because of this. That'd be so great if we took away someone who really deserved it, their scholarship. And then I'm just driving around LA in a Bugatti that says, Oxford! What an ass.
Unfortunately, we don't have time for any more questions. I'm sorry. But thank you so much for coming here.
Can I just say,
yes.
I know that you want me out, but this really is, this is legitimately a joyous thing to get to do, to get an opportunity to come to speak to so many young, smart people, and it's just absolutely lovely. This has been a real treat for me, so thank you for having me.